A few weeks ago, I watched 100 hours of Scotty Kilmer's videos and made a 10-minute video summarizing everything I learned. This time, I want to share with you the 10 most important rules of car ownership according to Scotty. Before we get into the details, here are Scotty Kilmer's 10 commandments of car ownership. Number 1. Never buy a car with a CVT. Number 2. Always buy a Toyota as your first car. Number 3. Don't ignore weird noises, ever. Number 4. Stop trusting dealership service centers. Number 5. Change your oil religiously. Number 6. Never buy a turbo unless you like pain. Number 7. Scan your car before buying it. Number 8. Don't mess with unnecessary mods. Number 9. Forget extended warranties. Number 10. If the transmission's slipping, run. Commandment number 1. Never buy a car with a CVT. Scotty Kilmer absolutely despises CVTs. He talks about them like they personally ruined his childhood. And honestly, after watching hours of him scream about them, you might start hating them too. The problem? CVTs are basically gearless transmissions that use belts and pulleys to deliver a smooth ride. Sounds cool, until it breaks. And when it does, you're not just replacing a part, you're replacing your savings account. These things are notoriously expensive to repair, fragile under pressure, and age like milk left in the sun. You'll find them in plenty of popular cars, especially those tempting used Nissans and Mitsubishis with low prices. But the minute that transmission starts slipping, jerking, or humming like a dying microwave, it's game over. Mechanics don't even like fixing them. They'd rather rebuild an engine than touch a worn-out CVT. So if you're shopping for a used car and spot CVT in the description, just back away slowly. There are better mistakes you can make. Number 2. Always buy a Toyota as your first car. Scotty's love for Toyota is something else. It's not just a preference, it's a full-blown philosophy. After watching him wrench on cars, one thing becomes painfully clear. If it's got a Toyota badge, there's a good chance it's indestructible. He constantly praises their engineering, reliability, and simplicity. These aren't cars you buy to flex on Instagram. They're cars you buy because they work, year after year, with barely any drama. You could hand a 20-year-old Camry to a teenager, a grandparent, or someone who hasn't even changed a tire before, and it would still make it to work the next morning. For a first car, it's the safest bet. You're not worrying about turbo failure, electrical gremlins, or transmissions that cost more than rent. It just runs. Change the oil, don't crash it, and you'll probably still be driving it a decade later. Number 3. Don't ignore weird noises, ever. If you've watched enough Scotty videos, you'll notice something. He treats every strange noise like a warning siren from the underworld. Whether it's a squeak, a knock, a hiss, or a rattle, he reacts like it's a matter of life and death, and it's not entirely wrong. Most car owners love to ignore noises until something breaks. That gentle clunk during turns? Probably just the road, right? Nope, could be your tie rod begging for retirement. That faint squeal when braking? Surely that's normal. It's not, that's your brake pads crying for help. Scotty's whole deal is listening to the car before it eats your wallet. Weird sounds don't fix themselves, and the longer you ignore them, the worse and more expensive they get. And no, blasting music louder isn't a solution. The real move is to pay attention, get it checked early, and fix small issues before they turn into roadside disasters. Pretending not to hear it is how people end up stranded on the highway with a bill and a lesson. Number 4. Stop trusting dealership service centers. When it comes to dealership mechanics, Scotty might actually believe they're part of an evil empire. He goes after them like they're stealing candy from toddlers. And while the rage may be theatrical, he's not pulling it out of thin air. Dealership service centers are infamous for charging sky-high prices for basic repairs, upcharging for unnecessary services, and recommending work that doesn't actually need to be done. Something simple like an oil change or air filter swap turns into a 3-page receipt with half the bill written in fine print. The issue is that most people assume that dealerships offer the best care. After all, they're the official service center, right? But that official stamp doesn't stop them from milking clueless customers with overpriced labor and parts. Scotty always pushes for learning the basics yourself, or at the very least, finding an honest, independent mechanic who won't treat your car like a gold mine. Unless you enjoy paying dealership rates for problems that didn't exist, it's better to steer clear. Number 5. Change your oil religiously. This is Scotty Kilmer's holy grail of car maintenance. If there's one thing he preaches louder than his microphone can handle, it's this. Never skip your oil changes. Not once. Not ever. To Scotty, oil is more than just fluid. It's the lifeblood of the entire engine. Skip an oil change and you're not saving money. You're actively aging your engine by about 10 years in a month. He's seen it all. Sludge buildup, worn out seals, burnt pistons. Usually from someone who decided 12,000 miles between oil changes should be fine. And don't even think about relying on those little dashboard lights to tell you when it's time. By the time your oil light turns on, it's already too late. That light isn't a friendly reminder. It's your engine screaming for help. The worst part? It's the easiest thing to do. You don't need a full garage or an engineering degree. A $5 filter, a quart of oil, and 30 minutes in your driveway can save you thousands in repairs. But people still skip it, thinking modern engines can handle abuse. They can't, not for long. Regular oil changes are boring. They aren't flashy, but they keep your car alive. And if you're too lazy to do that, maybe a reliable car isn't what you need. Maybe you need a bus pass. Number 6, never buy a turbo unless you like pain. Scotty doesn't hate turbocharged cars. He just thinks they're a ticking time bomb strapped to your wallet. And he's not totally wrong. Turbos are fun until they're not. The appeal is obvious. You get more power out of a smaller engine, better fuel efficiency, and that sweet whoosh sound when you hit the gas. But that fun comes at a cost. Turbos run hot, they spin insanely fast, and they rely on precision components that don't always age gracefully, especially if the previous owner didn't take care of them. And let's be honest, most people don't. They skip oil changes, run cheap gas, and floor it at every green light. By the time that turbo fails, you're not just replacing one part. You're dealing with blown seals, fried bearings, and engine oil that looks like it came from a deep fryer. Fixing a turbo isn't cheap either. You're not spending a couple $100. You're looking at 4 figures and a lot of regret. On a used car, even worse. You never know how it was driven. That gently used Golf GTI might have lived its whole life at 6,000 RPM. If you must go turbo, prepare for the consequences. However, if you want to keep things simple, reliable, and drama-free, follow Scotty's advice and avoid the boosted life altogether. Number 7, scan your car before buying it. This is one of Scotty's favorite tricks, and it's surprisingly simple. Before you buy any used car, scan it. Even if it looks perfect, even if the check engine light isn't on, doesn't matter. Plug in an OBD2 scanner and see what's going on behind the scenes. Most modern cars have dozens of sensors feeding data to the ECU. Some errors don't trigger a warning light right away, but they're still stored in the system. A basic $25 scanner can reveal hidden issues with the engine, transmission, emissions, and more. It's like getting a medical checkup before committing to a lifelong relationship, except cheaper and without the awkward small talk. Scotty's seen people get burned time and time again. They buy a car that runs fine only to discover it's riddled with codes for bad oxygen sensors, misfires, or transmission slip alerts that were cleared just before the test drive. Scanning the car would have revealed it all. The best part? Scanners are dirt cheap now. You can get one online, plug it into the port under the dash, and get instant results on your phone. There's literally no excuse not to use one. If a seller refuses to let you scan the car, that's your answer. Walk away. You're not buying a mystery box, you're buying a machine that could ruin your next 6 months if it's hiding something serious. Number 8, don't mess with unnecessary mods. This is where a lot of car owners fall off the deep end. You buy a perfectly fine vehicle and then suddenly you get the urge. Maybe it starts with an LED strip under the dash. Then it's a cold air intake from eBay. Before you know it, you're straight piping your Honda Civic and pretending it's a race car. Scotty has no patience for unnecessary mods. Not because he's anti-performance, but because most people do it horribly. He spent decades fixing cars that were ruined by people who didn't know what they were doing. Want to know why your check engine light came on? It's probably because your new $30 racing chip is frying your ECU like a toaster oven. And don't get him started on the cheap air filters and fake performance intakes. You know the ones with bright red plastic tubes that suck in hot air directly from the engine bay? Congratulations, you just made your car slower, and you're wondering why the throttle response feels like a wet sponge. Then there's the suspension mods. People slamming their cars to the ground with sketchy coilovers that bounce like a trampoline. Or they throw on some aggressive camber, wear their tires down to wire in 2 weeks and call it stance. But the real kicker? Most of these mods don't actually improve anything. They make the car louder, harsher, and in many cases less reliable. The engine runs worse, the ride quality tanks, and your fuel economy drops off a cliff. All so you can shoot TikToks of your car scraping over speed bumps. If you actually know what you're doing, fine. But most people don't. They're modding for looks, not function, and they end up creating a Frankenstein mess that even experienced mechanics don't want to touch. So here's the Scotty approved rule. If your car already runs fine, don't ruin it trying to make it cooler. Keep it clean, keep it simple, and leave the builds to people with dynos, lift kits, and 5-digit tool collections. Number 9. Forget extended warranties. This is one of Scotty's favorite scams to roast, and it never gets old. Extended warranties sound great on paper. You get a call or you're buying a used car and someone pitches you on this magical insurance plan that'll cover anything that goes wrong. Peace of mind, right? Wrong. Scotty spent years tearing into these contracts, and here's the truth. Most of them are legal booby traps. They're full of exclusions, fine print, and loopholes that make it nearly impossible to actually get your repair covered when it matters. You think you're protected because your plan says it covers major mechanical failures? Well, surprise, your specific issue isn't technically included. Your turbo is toast? Sorry, that only covers the turbo actuator. Your transmission slips? That's a wear and tear item. And heaven help you if you can't prove you did every oil change on time and kept the receipts from a certified shop. That alone can void the whole thing. Scotty's seen it too many times. People pay thousands for these warranties and then get denied for the dumbest reasons. Or they do get approved only to find that they have to take their car to some sketchy preferred repair shop across town where the work is bottom shelf and the parts are recycled. And here's the best part. Some of these warranty companies go out of business before you ever file a claim. That's right, you spent money for coverage from a company that doesn't even exist anymore. Good luck getting your money back. Instead of throwing cash at one of these warranty scams, Scotty always recommends just buying a good, reliable car in the first place. Put a little bit of money aside in case something breaks. That's your real warranty. At least you control it. Number 10. If the transmission's slipping, run. This one is Scotty's ultimate deal breaker. You can live with faded paint, you can replace brake pads, you can even survive an oil leak. But if you test drive a used car and the transmission starts slipping, jerking, or hesitating, you turn around and leave. Immediately. Don't ask for a discount, don't bargain, just run. Transmission issues are the most expensive and painful problems to deal with in the used car world. And once the slipping starts, it's usually a sign of deeper damage. The fluid could be cooked, the clutch packs could be worn down, the torque converter could be shot. Whatever it is, it's not going to be cheap, and there's no quick fix. Some sellers will try to hide it. They'll reset the ECU to clear codes, top off the fluid to mask the problem, or tell you it just needs an adjustment. Don't fall for it. If the car can't shift smoothly under normal driving, you're looking at a future filled with tow trucks and repair bills that cost more than the car itself. And even if you're thinking about fixing it, ask yourself this. Are you ready to drop $3 to $5 grand on a new transmission for a used car that's probably not even worth that much? Most shops won't rebuild a transmission anymore. They just swap it with a remanufactured one and call it a day. And if you think you're gonna DIY it, good luck. Modern transmissions are ridiculously complex. We're talking hundreds of parts, precision tuning, and specialty tools that cost more than the car. The safest move? Walk away. There are plenty of used cars out there. Don't saddle yourself with someone else's transmission nightmare. So there you have it. 10 commandments about car ownership from the legend himself, Scotty Kilmer. If you want to enjoy owning a car, make sure you stick to these commandments.